All right, here we are, guys, with the first ride of the 2021 KLX300. I'm pretty excited to hop on this thing, see how it does out on the road. This is gonna be a full first ride. Like I said, highway twisties, fun in the city. Of course, my thoughts on it coming from my souped up KLX351. So make sure you stick around for the whole video and make sure you stay tuned for some awesome content with the KLX300 here. We're gonna be doing a whole bunch of tests with this thing. I know people expressed that to me in the delivery video. We wanna see this thing before you do any mods to it. Trust me, we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be getting good baselines with this bike. Next video is gonna be a trail ride with my friend's uncorked KLX250, so things are gonna get competitive. And of course, we're gonna be doing some mods to this thing, but you're gonna have to stay tuned. Without further ado, let's go ahead, hop on the bike, and we'll get to talking about this thing, get my thoughts on it. But yeah, I think it's a pretty sweet bike. Oh yeah, and there's one more thing I forgot to mention. If you're around the area and you go to Motorsport Hillsboro and you're gonna get a bike, go to Matt McKay and Finance, mention my channel, JH Motor Club, my brothers, JH Motorsports, Jeff is my name, and either you'll get $100 off your bike purchase or $100 in-store credit.
Yeah, let's go. I ain't the first with the curse, with the thirst that I wanna be better, not worse, man it hurts. I'm on this earth with my words and I put them all together, insert, cause I wanna have worth. Working hella hard till they put me in the dirt. Gonna go far, man, listen to my words. Gonna be a star, man, life's like a blur. When you're working this hard, yeah, you get what you deserve. Yeah, I ain't taking a backseat, I'm passing anybody else who is rapping. I'm nasty, ain't nobody able to catch me. They gasping, they cannot compare, they can't match me. I'm at half speed, I got your girl and she laughing and dancing, hanging on my butt, she asking to crash with me, smash with me. She savage, she wants cash money, and she knows that I live lavishly. I wanna.
Wow, that's a little bit different feeling out on a completely stock KLX 300. Woo! Ho-ho! Hey, these cams do pick up pretty well. Wow! Hey there! Somebody's home up top. So enough rambling, my name is Jeff. This is my brother's bike, JH Motorsport, and well, this is his upgrade from a KLX 140L, but he has so graciously allowed me to make videos with it because, well, if you want to take a look back on my channel, I'm somewhat well versed in the KLX world. Got my KLX 250 in 2018. It's not a 250 anymore, it's a 351. Go check out the rest of the channel if you want to know more about me. Let's launch the thing and get a little taste of the power. Well, that's an interesting feeling. She gets going up top. The 351 pulls hard, but again, if you guys have been following that, we've been struggling with an ignition retard up top, and the thing just doesn't want to make power up there, and we're trying to find a workaround for that. But I don't know if it's the cams and we still have the drop off up top, or if it's they actually just got rid of the retard up top in combination with the 300R cams apparently. But yeah, this thing wants to go up top. That's a weird feeling. So right out the bat, power definitely has some more beans than when my 250 was stock. Man, that is spicy. So I had my 250 from all the way when it was stock to a slip-on to stage 1 mods with the tuner to a big bore, etc, etc. The power of this, seat of the pants wise, kind of feels like stage 1 mods with the KLX 250. It feels like you just got the bike uncorked and it actually wants to pull past 6,000 RPMs. Like I said, seat of the pants, not numbers, because we know what the numbers look like up top on the 250, but it pulls great up top. The only thing that I feel that is missing from this is kind of that set you back in your seat down low torque. Like I said, all stock here. Now what it really feels similar to is how the WR250R makes its power. I rode my friend's WR250R, and it kind of feels two-stroke like. I don't want this video to be a comparison video. I'll talk a little bit about the 250R and the CRF300L later in the video, but that's what the power feels like on this bike in soft form, like I said. Man, it's just so great to have something that actually feels like it's moving up top. So one last thing on power before we move on here. Don't think that it can't lug down low, because it certainly can. Like my KLX, you can upshift it and upshift it and upshift it and upshift it, and it just does not want to die, which is nice. If you know my struggles initially with the KX450X, but like I said with my 250, the thing that I love about dual sports is that you just go off the road and you go wherever you want. It does not matter. Of course, these D605s are pumped all the way up to street pressures, but at least they're full tread, and well, they provide some pretty good traction here in the loose stuff. A lot better than I remember mine. So another thing contributing to just pretty much go anywhere, do anything, do whatever you want is suspension. Now this thing, of course, has 10 inches up front, 9 inches out back, like the outgoing 250. And as you can see, it's plenty here. I seem to have missed how much fun it is to just ride on the street and go wherever you want. That power up top, wow, it does not feel like I'm riding a stock KLX. I want to touch on suspension here a little bit more before we move on. So, with the KLX, it's not like you're getting MX suspension like my KX. The thought was kind of always that the WR had the best suspension. The only advantage I really saw is that the rebound was a little bit better than the KLX. Of course, you can't adjust rebound on the front fork on the KLX. You can only do compression. Now, for me and my weight, I think I'm only 2 clicks out from max compression on the forks with my KLX, and it gets the job done on the trails. It's not like I'm sending 70-foot booters. And of course, you can upgrade the suspension pretty quickly with some gold valves from Race Tech. The only thing is that the suspension can get a little bit unsettled. If you're just going to the trails having a good time, and yeah, you can push it, just be wary of successive bumps like whoops. Other than that, the suspension is great. Travel is what you're looking for. Ground clearance is what you're looking for on the trails. The rear shock itself is actually pretty good. Preload, rebound, compression. The forks is mainly the downside when you're talking suspension here with the KLX. So yet again, contributing to that go anywhere, do dumb stuff wherever you want, shenanigans, whatever you want to call it. The thing's light, it's 302 pounds. The new CRF300L is 309 pounds. The old discontinued WR250R is 295 pounds. Yeah, that's heavy for a dirt bike, but for a street bike and dirt bike, a dual sport, this thing is so flickable. In and out of traffic just like that. So I'm speaking to the beginner rider here. It is lightweight. Seat height is about 35.1 inches. Again, with the Yamaha, I believe it's 36.6. The Honda, 34.8. I'm 5'10", not geared up, 5'11", 6 foot when I am geared up here with my boots. And I can almost flat foot this thing with the stock sag. When I adjusted my sag, I'm about on the balls of my feet. Half of my foot is on the ground. Like I said in the delivery video, a lot of people hop on the KLX as a first bike. There's good reason for that because it does it well. While we're talking about how this thing is to ride, ergonomics, my knees are below the tank. They don't feel like they're up in my chest, so my hip angle is less than 90 degrees. If you're above 6 foot, 6'2", your knees might come up, but there is one thing that you can do to mitigate that, like I've done on my KLX. Seat Concepts makes a 1-inch higher seat, so that gives you some more leg room. In terms of bars, yeah, this thing needs some bars. These feel like little scooter bars, as expected. You could rotate them forward a little bit, give you a little bit better feel, but as you guys saw, I bent mine like a cheap pair of chopsticks. They broke. So we're gonna be fixing that, obviously. But it's a nice relaxed position. Your elbows, if you're just relaxing, they're down. It's not forcing your elbows up. Of course, dual sport, upright seating position. So, fuel is one of the greatest things about 300, 250 dual sport. These things just sip gas. Obviously, I haven't gone through a full tank yet, but my 250, I could get about 110 miles before the light came on, and it has a 0.7 gallon reserve, 2 gallon fuel capacity like the other 250 dual sports. Well, 2.1 if you're the Honda. Big guy carrying all the weight over there. But since we're all stock here, fuel mileage is great. But now we head into the twisties to see how having a little bit of extra power band helps with the KLX here. And we get to see how this thing does at higher speeds. Get a taste of it before we go onto the highway. So we're 6th gear here at an indicated 60. Speedometer should be overrated by about 10%. Let's go ahead and roll on a bit. So it climbs rather slowly. Now let's go ahead and downshift a couple gears. There's the power. I love the top end charge. So now, since we're in the twisties and I got some time to talk here, I'll give you a little bit of insight as to why we went with the KLX300. Yes, at heart, my brother and I were Kawasaki guys, but Honda did come out with the CRF 300L after the KLX300 was released. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought about that for a second. New Honda Dual Sport looks a lot more like a dirt bike. It doesn't look like kind of a street bike that can go off-road. 10.2 inches front and rear suspension travel. Another big thing that some people might not notice is that it comes from the factory with a 38mm throttle body. And I got my KLX 351 throttle body bored to, I believe it was 38 or 39. Oh yeah, she likes to get moving! But 38mm throttle body, that's flowing pretty good. And when the aftermarket comes out with some stuff for the 300, that thing's gonna make some good power. With the KLX here, the nice thing is that this platform's been around since 2009 in the US. Well, this kind of generation body style, of course, went EFI in 2018. That means levers, pegs, bars. Well, bars are kind of universal. But wheels, cylinder head, big bores, cams, all those parts interchange. With the 300, with the cams, I'm not sure if those will interchange to the 250 yet because I don't know what this bolt is on the side of the cylinder head. It could just be something for maybe the cam chain. I won't know until we do our first valve check, which we'll talk about here in a second. But all those parts interchange. The aftermarket has been going for over 10 years now with the KLX. We do have enough power to pass people. So that, obviously, I know my way around a KLX. All these 300s, 250s are dead nuts reliable. But while we're on that topic, let's go ahead and talk about valve checks, the intervals. People like to talk about the WR. I got several comments talking about the WR's super long valve check intervals, 26,000 miles. Now that's great and all, but I have 3,500 miles on my KLX 351 and I've checked the valve like 3 times already. On the KLX, it's recommended for 7,500 miles. But heck, I don't think I'd wait that long. Now brakes, once you get them bedded in, they bite and they bring you to a stop. They're not too grabby on the street where it'll lock up the rear easily. You definitely want to be careful with them in the wet, because I've had them in the wet. They are pretty sketchy. So I've been going pretty long here on the KLX. Well, it feels like a long time. But one thing I know, and you guys know if you've been following me, with my KLX 250, I despised the stock seat. And when I got this bike home with my brother, I told him, hey, I think this seat is a bit softer than my 250 seat. Because right now it kind of feels like I'm just riding a seat concept seat. The seat feels pretty plush, I'm not gonna lie. One last thing before we head to the highway here. Since we're kind of off-road, I'll talk about this more in the next video, but when you're standing up, the bars feel a little low to me. Again, that can be fixed. I think I'd like a set of bar risers on here. Maybe an inch, depending on the bend of the bar. Alright guys, let's go ahead and head to the highway to finish off this video. Alright, here we go guys, onto the highway. Finish off this video, see how this thing does. Here we go guys, merging onto the highway. Obviously, we're matching speed pretty well. Let's get in the fast lane when we can here. So close to 70, 67 miles an hour, 7,000 RPM. The engine is actually pretty smooth. Little vibration through the handlebars. 6th gear, of course, 60 miles an hour, this thing will do it all day. You can actually still feel the power band up top on the highway, which is nice. It doesn't feel like it kind of falls on its face a bit. Here, I'd say to maintain speed at about 70 miles an hour, we're maybe 3/4 throttle, accelerating onto the other highway. We are going to get in the fast lane over there. So fast lane and travel, a lot of people talk to me about the 250 before, saying, how do you do that? My bike doesn't feel very stable. It feels pretty stable to me. Even the steering is heavy. It doesn't feel like you accidentally hit the handlebars and it's going to send you off somewhere. So plenty of room to go around traffic here. Passing at 80 miles an hour. So it works pretty good as expected. If people are just going to hog up the left lane and you want to pass them, you certainly can. If you come across someone who's a bit more aggressive, they might give you some issues. This thing could easily hit 90. I'm going to have to come out here and do the top speed test in Mexico when it's clear. But overall, from my background with the KLX, coming from the 250, all the money that I put into the 351, I'd like to say that Kawasaki improved the KLX with the 300 here in the right places, and it makes me excited for what I can do with my bike, what we're going to do with this bike, all the upcoming tests and videos we got for this thing. Man, I am just actually thoroughly impressed. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, share it to your friends, those who may enjoy it. There's so much I want to say about this bike, especially coming from with what I know about the KLX, but you can only fit so much into a video. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this new bike. Let me know any questions you have about it. Of course, subscribe if you are not already. Also, be sure to check out my brother's channel. This is his bike. But with all that being said, join the club, and I'll see you in the next one.
I'ma blow up. Yeah.